Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts, and this is a writing on the wall. This is where I share my knowings, psychic knowings, intuitions, research, or just whatever is on my mind or whatever I'm feeling led to share. So we have got today the topic of spiritual STDs, spiritual cleanliness, and what we see going on through unfortunately, a lot of what I predicted regarding the further attack, the final blows in their plans anyway, on the procreation energies, the capabilities of procreation, actually changing the human makeup in order to, as I predicted, and I feel this is going to come about for many, unfortunately, that have fallen for the spell work, the narrative, at least 3 generations of sterility. And so we are seeing, unfortunately, the data coming out, and that, of course, mainstream media is not covering it. But after the said experiment, people are spontaneously aborting, a medical term for miscarriage, from right up to nearly full term to early days. Fertility clinics are seeing problems, and this is going to have an impact that is a reckoning for humanity, for what we will stand for. There is going to be a lot of shock and heartbreak and anger regarding those who were asleep enough to go and get the experiment, um, realizing that the impact of it, and that was known and that was planned, and it is specifically targeted towards certain areas around the world. And so this is something that we need to cover. It's something that has always been important. And the sacred sexual practice, the tantric practice of sex magic, the ancients had it at high regard, greatly regarded with reverence, because of the knowing and the knowledge and wisdom of the power, the energy that was sourced through such practice, especially when it was one whole person coming together with one whole person, other than a broken person coming together with a whole person, or whether it was one person practicing this Kundalini energy on themselves to create this boost of energy in order to manifest things in different realms, in the spirit realm, in the realm that they were dwelling in, and of course, most importantly, the procreation aspect of having guided tantric practices that were planned and balanced to allow souls, to allow babies to enter into this realm in the most optimum time for them and for the would-be parents. And this is where, during this hijack that happened so long ago, is where this they realized whether this was a huge power, and have distorted it in the most ugly terms, and have worked to dirty the practice, to make it shameful in the religions, the organized religions, to have so many rules around it that don't actually make sense and don't actually correlate with the practice in its most highest form, in its greatness. And so they have done this in various ways. And so I want to talk about spiritual STDs today, regarding what is going on right now and how rife this is. A while back, I was speaking to Guy and Paul, and I brought this up, and Guy had said, "But you need to do that," and I didn't get around to doing it. And now I see the impact and ramifications of actions taken by those, particularly who are messing around with frequencies, messing around with portals, messing around with stargates, and inviting all sorts into this realm. Plus, we have the impact of a lot of broken people, a lot of misunderstanding regarding procreation, regarding sexual practice within its wisdom and its knowledgeable state, rather than this just, anywhere with anyone, repeating cycles, broken relationships. So there is this energies right now of that I'm picking up on hugely, even more than usual, of these entities, these energies, these beings that very much so see the brokenness and also the doors that have been opened through the change in the DNA via experiments, that there are doorways open to people, that there are portals open to people more than usual. So it's really important in the spiritual community, in the just aware and awake community, that we are very, very discerning and very, very careful as to where we mix our energies, and in particular during the act of love, of sex, of interaction, intercourse with another. It's important that we really do put our sovereignty and divinity above all else, even the triggered feelings of others when we say no, we can't do that. This is a warning for those that are aware and awake enough to be very careful regarding mixing with, particularly within this practice, with those who have taken part in the experiment, those that would shed certain things that would also affect you. And so if you look at, I'll see if we can do some drawing. So more, no, I don't want to do that. I want to share screen. So, okay, so if we look at the divine masculine and the divine feminine aspects here depicted as the moon and the sun for simplicity, and you get two people coming together, and you see that you have very rudimentary drawings. You see that we have a male and a female, and so picture the male and the female taking it upon themselves in their divinity and sovereignty to stay physically clean. So they're both physically clean, physically clean, and so this is one layer of cleanliness that, of course, will go towards not helping STDs be apparent, within the body, within the structure of the people. But there's this aspect that has been lost for many of being taken just as much importance as being spiritually clean. Because obviously this is the unseen to many, and so it gets ignored. And because we have gone into a spiral of devolution regarding knowledge being taken away, from us, we have spiraled downwards as the many in the collective in our understanding of spiritual cleanliness being just as important as physical cleanliness. So we have this this female and this male, and they're both practicing physical cleanliness, and they're both practicing spiritual cleanliness, i.e., making sure that they keep their energetic space divine. They don't mess about with people who aren't in their wholeness. If they are working with people like myself who are quite broken and are trying to seek after their wholeness, I take it very seriously to clear myself in various different ways. We'll go through that on another video. There is like herbal tea baths. There is, if you're doing herbal tea baths to get spiritually clean, make sure you do the 9 dunks. There's a reason that old wives' tales in witchcraft, it would say, submerge yourself 9 times while saying your mantra, and then you go into the more scientific and you realize that the 9 representing that field of possibilities. And so it is important, and this is where old wives' tales, old knowledge means something. So there's lots of different ways that you can be spiritually clean, but you have to be acting in your divinity and sovereignty. So because these 2 people independently, individually find it important enough to do this for themselves, when they come together, there is a spiral up regarding the 2 energies coming together, and there's a spiral up which literally lifts both of them up. They get that boost, they get that sex magic, they get that kundalini energy working together, because it is 2 wholes coming together as 2 wholes rather than broken and whole, or both broken. And so they support one another, and instead of gaining attachments regarding past partners, it's their experience, and they excel through it. They manifest goodness out of it. It acts towards their greatness and their ability to go forward in their wholeness and in their divinity and sovereignty. And so then we go to a male and a female aspect who don't have the knowledge. So yes, they may be physically clean, so they've got the we'll just put P, clean. They may be physically clean, they've got that aspect down. So on the surface, they can look very attractive, they can be very well put together. And so it would seem that they are a safe bet to share this kind of energy with. And so this is where you can be very much mistaken, because this would be only in the superficial. So the spiritual cleanliness, the knowledge isn't even there, or the knowledge is there, but they're very lax on it, or they don't quite understand the importance of it. So we have here, maybe a lifetime. We could have childhood abuse, childhood sexual abuse. We could have, we could have rapes. We could have regrets, we've all had them, where we haven't been in our divinity and sovereignty and made decisions to enter into a sexual practice with another, and we've been disappointed in ourselves afterwards because we've seen the true colors of the person, or we feel like we've been used, wham bam thank you ma'am type energy. And so we have also all of the past partners still present. Past partners still present in the energetic field, because this has been maybe superficially cleaned, But on the spiritual level, on the energetic level, all of these things and more are in the makeup of the energetic body of one person within this scenario or both people within this scenario. And so when you are then maybe say this male is very is being quite either a recluse and hasn't had much experience, or maybe he has been very discerning along the way, but this physically clean, beautiful woman attracts him in, and he enters into the portal of all of this. And this is then a part of his energetic field. And so this is where we start to get these spiritual STDs. Now, the more we enter into this, and of course, this scenario could be vice versa, the more we enter into this, the more attachments we are going to get along the way. And the more difficult it's going to be to determine where these attachments got in, where they actually exist within our energetic field, within our spiritual body. And so this is causing more so this spiral down in the sacred practice of sex, of intercourse and procreation. This is where we have babies that are unwanted, babies that are unplanned and then unwanted, babies that are not given the highest reverence and regard that they absolutely deserve, because they've been born maybe out of something that wasn't given the highest regard that the practice deserved. And so, and the more that these people are getting these attachments, the more confusing and the more spirals that are formed, and it's going down, downgrading. Now, there's been a lot forced into the collective to encourage this. We have, the movies where it seems to be cool to be in dysfunctional relationships, the love stories. We have, the pornography industry, where it is absolutely this was one of their star things that they thought of, the so-called powers that be, these shadowy beings, to attack directly the divine nature of procreation, the divine nature of intercourse, the divine nature of sex magic, because this was a hit, and with that they have slowly but surely devolved even more. A lot of people's energy, everybody is affected by pornography now, because whether it's your child that gets into it and it affects their divinity and sovereignty and their sacred sexual part of themselves, or whether it is a boyfriend, a husband, a wife, a girlfriend, whether it is a sister, a brother, or whether it is the pornography industry slowly but surely attaching itself to the movie industry. So now, my granny would have never seen a sex scene just pop up without warning. There just wouldn't have been one in total anyway. But now even in adverts, it's practical pornography sometimes. And so this is where they really have rammed down the throat and diluted what is such an important sacred practice, such a revered sacred practice that actually gives reverence at the point of life, whether that be you using that energy when you combine your own Kundalini energy or your energy with another's to give boost to a plan, an experience, something that you're trying to manifest, or whether that be that it leads to the procreation with a child, a baby, those things that are birthed from a very imbalanced scales, the like this. Those things that are birthed aren't given the reverence they deserve. And so more and more is birthed into the collective with these detachments and the lack of the lack of respect, and so it all adds to it. So right now, basically, they are opening up portals like no tomorrow. You know, to say that, to say the least. So it's very important that we stay very cognizant of protecting our sacred energies, our divine feminine and masculine within, and also the divine feminine and divine masculine within others, and also to not be afraid, to be very careful of your energetic field, not just from a spiritual point of view, but I want you to look at this. And so there is a lot of this going on, and these doors and portals are opened up everywhere. We've got doorways, literally, you know, portals literally opening up everywhere. And these entities, these energies are rife. And so now it really is important that we do our ritualistic spiritual cleanliness, physical cleanliness, mental cleanliness, emotional cleanliness, and fire, passionate cleanliness. To start really being careful about not just being led by fire, by passion, by attraction. And to be honest, being really careful who we share, not just our energetic space with, but in particular our physical space with, in particular our wand and our portal right now, because you could be impregnated with things that you were clever enough to not experiment on yourself with. You could be given certain DNA activators to change things up. And so it really is, look up the different ways of ritualistic spiritual cleanliness, emotional cleanliness, but most of all, really amp up your discernment and really give reverence to your divinities within, your divine masculine and your divine feminine, in order to have the correct discernment regarding relations right now, because it feels like a very sticky, dirty field. There are things just in the wings, literally within and around people, just waiting for, like a sperm within an egg, a way in. You know, this sexual energy is very attractive to many different energies, entities, beings, and it is it's dark what is happening to this sacred space within ourselves that allows us the magic of procreation, and it's something to be taken very, very seriously right now. So I'm going to leave it at that. This is obviously just a very basic overview of this. You can dig into it with me more. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments, or you can email me. Probably better to leave it in the comments, unless it is very private and you want to ask a question in private. You can email me, truedivinemedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can do that for reading, spiritual coaching, or energy flow sessions. You can do that also at that email address. Go over to my Facebook, TrueDivine44. Like the page, it all helps. And I post up things on there. We've got Truth Warriors also as a page that's attached to my Facebook that I made up. And true divine truths, which I want to take off more, because I want people to just post up their different spiritual experiences, how they are dealing with the energies of any given day or any given experience or process that they're going through, just to help bring people together and give people knowledge of each other's experiences in order for us to grow in discernment and in wisdom. So yeah, go over there, help me start that off, because it's there. But I want to build upon that. Dialogue is super important right now. But know that your sacred sexual space has been under attack for a very long time. And so this is a good time for us to take a pause with that 9 of Wands that keeps coming up. Take a pause and look at where we have things that have maybe gotten in along the way. Relationships that we watched our parents have that maybe were unbalanced and unhealthy. Looking at things that, we're maybe still carrying around from past relationships. Looking at things where, you still think of that person a lot, and maybe there's energetic cords there that need to be cut and shed, because basically when we are not practicing this spiritual cleanliness, like I said before, I think you enter into this energetic field, you're picking up on everything that person is carrying, you enter into that person's body, and you are literally physically, especially if physical cleanliness hasn't been carried on, physically, emotionally, passionately, and spiritually, you are sleeping with each and every person that they have slept with and any attachments on top of that. And so it really is important that we do practice more discernment and bring back the sacred reverence of sex, of intercourse, of divine unity, of creating that divine union within ourselves and our own Kundalini energy and with others. It is super important. We gave this away far too easily. Again, they sneaked in with this, and it has been a huge aspect of the plan, and it will become an even bigger aspect of their plan as they move more into the transhuman, transgender, merging the two. This is where we are really under attack in our sacred sexual space. So I appreciate you all listening. Much love, much balance, and much wholeness. Mwah.